Good morning. Um, what is going on here? All right, we're all good. Good morning to those watching. Hope you're having a good morning. I just got to do this little setup here on my end with all these pop-outs, chats, because we're streaming on multiple platforms. First, I want to say today is a day of remembrance. I was just watching a little bit on TV. 9/11. I lost a friend there, high school friend, who was a Port Authority police officer. And he lost his life saving others. So let us remember all those who sacrificed, saving others, and all those who perished on that day. And all those firefighters and first responders that were on the scene for months afterward who succumbed to all the stuff, the cancer and everything else that they suffered from trying to recover. It was just a horrible scene. I was in New York City. I was crying before when I was watching. So I'm a little shaken up before I got on here. But, which I should have waited. But, let us not remember what today represents. Not just in New York City, but in Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C. 23 years ago. I can't believe it's already 23 years. Let us not remember what today represents. So, for us here in the United States, today is a somber day for that. Not just in New York remembering. City. And the ceremony will be going on for hours, reading off all the names now. Yeah, I was home in the Bronx. My mother was working in the city, delivering the mail. My father was on his boat in City Island, which is in the Bronx. And I couldn't believe it when I was watching TV. I went to the roof of a building to see what I could see, because it's far from the Bronx. But you could see the smoke. And then I called my father and I said, "Dad, are you on the boat right now?" And he says, "Yeah, I could see it." And then I tried to call my mother at the post office. Can you believe? And I can call Mom here. She can tell you. Her station manager told them, the carriers, my mother was a letter carrier, to go out and deliver the mail. Now, that is insane. In the middle of chaos, when people are being evacuated from the city over bridges, because the subway system, everything was locked down. To say go out and continue to deliver the mail is just absurd. To even think that that's something that was considered. I mean, that is crazy that they told. And like I said, my mother's like a mute. I'm going to call her. I just told her I muted so you don't hear me yelling across the house. Come here for a second. Come here. So the day that the towers were hit, oh, now Tycho. Didn't the station manager say to all of you carriers, what did they say?
No, what's his name? Yeah, because we went to bring flowers.
No.
What happened?
Didn't the station manager say go out and deliver the mail?
Yeah. But then we went to pay respect because we had a fireplace there.
No, that's after. The day of 9/11, when the towers were hit, when the craziness was going on.
No, he said go and deliver the mail.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And there was a firehouse right down the street, 85th Street. I think 6 of them lost their lives in that firehouse, and my mom knew them. She would talk to them on the way and to and from work every day.
To go to work, I used to say hi, good morning to all of them. Oh, and then you know what he did? You know what he did?
What?
He said, okay, he wanted all of us, because my friend and me, we wanted to bring the flowers to them. And then he says, oh, no, he wanted to look good with the fire department there. And he wanted us to go with him so he could look good. So then we said, no, we're not, because he wanted like points, something.
Yeah, he wanted to get recognition that as the station manager that he was going there on behalf of the post office to put the flowers. Meanwhile, it was your idea and other carriers to do it.
And Avery and me, we said, no, we're going to go and pay our respect to the firemen there. And we did, and it was really
So
it
that was a crazy day. She was down on 85th Street, and I'm trying to figure out, Tycho, stop. The dog is right here. He wants to go out. That's why he's doing this. I'm trying to get in contact with my mother because everything's shut down. How am I going to get her out of New York City?
the trains and everything.
Everything was shut down. You may not be able to see this, but my dog is going cray-cray
Oh, yeah.
right here.
Look at that.
He's right here. You can't see him, but he's trying to jump on me. And you can hear him. But it was chaos. So at about, I was going to drive to the South Bronx. It's called the 3rd Avenue, let's call it the Willis Avenue Bridge, to wait for her somehow on that side as she walked over that bridge from Manhattan to get to the Bronx where I could pick her up. There he is. See that? You see that? He wants to go out. Anyway, shortly after 4 p.m. Eastern,
You want to go outside?
they turned the subways on from 86th Street, where she was, going north to the Bronx. So she was able to take the train back home.
It was packed off.
Of course it was. There were
Oh my
people
God.
trying to get out
Oh
of the
my
city.
God. It was horrible.
So it was chaos. I had,
And then you could see the smoke and the thing from like the street. You could see the tower.
so her friend,
was horrible.
her co-worker, in the post office, her good friend, his brother was working at the Marriott right next door to the towers. He came home, remember?
He was in the building.
He was in the building. I don't even want to tell you the stories. It's so, I'm not going there,
I don't like it.
of what was seen and heard on the site when this was happening, because it's horrific.
I don't want to remember. All the
There were
people-
family members of mine that came covered in that dust and shock. Like I said, my high school friend that lived right across the street from me lost his life. Yeah, he died trying to rescue other people. And they based that movie that Nicolas Cage was in. He was one of the Dominic Pizzulo. We called him Mimo. And the guy was a great guy. 2 young children. Horrible. So for a lot of people in New York City, we had a direct, whether we knew someone directly or indirectly, we were all affected. A lot of us, I won't say all, most of us were affected on what happened that day. And it wasn't just that day. It was the time after. The threats, the subway, the anthrax. It just continued. It was insane what was going on after that. So again, my thoughts and prayers to all those people who lost their lives and the first responders, the police, firefighters, EMS, all the people that did their simply heroes, trying to save others, and also during the recovery and the cleanup. And they eventually lost their lives due to the toxins, the cancer-causing materials at that site, because there are still people dying today from 9/11. So I just wanted to start that off by remembering all those people. Uh-oh. Did we lose the stream? Now, on another note, there is a Cat 1 hurricane heading toward Louisiana. It should be a Cat 1. I don't think it's going to make Cat 2. So let's share the screen. So this is a camera, New Orleans lakefront. And you can see the cameras going around. So the storm is still in the Gulf churning. So I also got the Earth Cam. It says New Orleans Cat's Meow Balcony. So you can see the rain is coming in, but here's the storm itself. And that is definitely a Cat 1 hurricane. Now this is windy. This is the European model. So I'm thinking it's gonna probably make landfall west of New Orleans, which that means they're on the wind side. But I don't even know because I haven't checked this yet. So I don't want to make any assumptions. Yeah, it looks like landfall is going to be to the west. Oh yeah. At least this model is forecasting that. So west of New Orleans, or New Orleans, it looks like this thing is going to make landfall. And it's saying here anywhere from 11 to 7 p.m. tonight. So this is the Euro model depicting when they think landfall is going to happen. And you can see on the right side is always the strong wind side with the storm surge. So anywhere in here, if this model comes to fruition, anywhere in here is going to get a lot of storm surge. Now, thankfully, this should be a Cat 1, so it shouldn't be too bad. But this is below sea level area. I mean, that's low lying. So they're prone to the flooding, as we know from historical hurricane Katrina. So that's the Euro. Let's see what the American. The American is now agreeing completely with the Euro. So they're both pretty much agreeing that it's going to make landfall in that same area. I always go by the Euro. The Euro historically is more accurate than the American model. So let's see where exactly this eye. So it looks just west of Morgan City, Franklin. It's going right toward Franklin. Based on this model, let me make that clear, based on the model. So that's the eye right there. This is predicted where the landfall is going to occur. Yeah, right between Franklin and Morgan City. Sometime this afternoon. So, for those that live in Louisiana, more eastern Louisiana, prepare, for a storm coming in. You already can see on the Earth Cam. You've got the rain already there coming in. And I don't know, there's not many cameras available out there. You could see it's raining. It doesn't look too windy yet, but the storm is incoming, so you need to pay attention to your weather. And I'm going to put Radar Omega. And there's Radar Omega. And you can see where they have it coming in too. Over here, it's a Cat 2. I did not see that. That's not good. So Radar Omega has it as a Cat 2. That's not good. Now, I don't know. We may have to go, it's still early. The last update was at 8 o'clock this morning Eastern. We may have to see. This thing may be actually getting stronger. Radar Omega is saying that this is going to be a Cat 2 here. And it's not going to lose juice as it makes landfall. So this could be a Cat 2 as it approaches land. That's not good. So now we're going to check. Let me see. Let us check NOAA, the Hurricane Center. And let's look for let's see what NOAA's saying. And there's other systems out here, but that's so far out. There's a high chance of development for that one. There's another one here, but we're not worried about that right now. Right now it's about this. Storm surge, as I was just talking about. Damaging and life-threatening hurricane force winds are expected in portions of southern Louisiana later today. There's a hurricane warning in effect. It's expected to bring heavy rainfall. So, and this is coming from NOAA, the Hurricane Center. This is not me saying it. This is the actual forecast coming from NOAA, which is pretty bad. Now, I want to see the cone. Let's look at the cone. Yeah, that's pretty much where it's going to go in. So the next update is at... Uh-oh. That's an Israeli alert. Happening at the same time. Rocket fire. Rocket fire going on. Click here for the new experimental cone. See, it's a hurricane, but it's not saying what type as it makes landfall. Click to see the new experimental cone. So right now it's located here. That's at 7 a.m. this morning. So you can see the red. This is all hurricane warning here. The blue is tropical storm warning. And then there's the watches in yellow. But you could see the areas of impact in red here with the hurricane warnings. So I don't know if this is a Cat. It's predicted to be a Cat 2. I'm going to go to AccuWeather. It's a Cat 1 now. So here's a live blog. It's a Cat 1. Oh yeah, they're predicting a Cat 2 as it makes landfall. It's right there. They're predicting a Cat 2. Genghis, love to you. Be safe. I hope everything is okay over there with you. And they're exactly what you just said about the power. That's what they're concerned about. Power outages are a growing concern as Francine strengthens ahead of landfall. However, companies are rushing to implement preventative measures to limit outages in the coming days. The vice president of power delivery operations at Entergy, which supplies powers to part of Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas, explained how they are preparing to minimize power outages. We've actually been out actively trimming trees in the path of the storm. The state of Mississippi and the state of Louisiana have been suffering from drought conditions the last couple of years, so we anticipate the wind speeds and things are going to create some vegetation problems for us, so we're trying to get ahead of that. So yeah, the power outages is a definite concern for these folks. So, again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the people in Louisiana, Mississippi, especially in the coastal areas, because that's where the storm surge and storm surge water related is the majority of what causes injury and unfortunately fatalities during these kind of storms. So it's not so much the wind. Yes, the wind is dangerous. It's the water. More water related, flooding, storm surge, people driving their vehicles and succumbing to flooded areas. It's just a horrible, horrible situation. So this is Radar Omega. You could see the location right now where it's at. Now, radar, we can go to Lake Charles. I gotta get to fix that. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up that far out right now. And another thing too about these storms is isolated tornadoes in the bands. You have to also worry about that as well. When these bands are wrapping around, you get those isolated tornadoes going on, which is not good. So a lot to keep an eye on this. And like I said, my thoughts and prayers, Genghis. So far, what's up, Bob? It's not flooded around here. However, everyone is preparing. And that's what everyone should be doing, is preparing. This is predicted to be a Cat 2. I didn't know that Radar Omega put that Cat 2 there. I wasn't sure. But the models are showing as a Cat 2 making landfall. So, it's not a major hurricane. Major is 3 and up. But still, that's a concern, regardless. And this is windy. And you can see where they're saying landfall is going to occur. This is the Euro model. The American is agreeing. The consensus is they are agreeing basically in the same location. This one has a little bit more to the east. But generally in the same area, I would say between Morgan City. Now this one has it east of Morgan City. The Euro has it between Franklin and Morgan City. Watch. See? So the American has a little bit more shifting to the east. The Euro has it here. So look at the storm surge. See all that wind coming in? And yes, even over here. Mississippi area. This whole area. You got to watch out. If this storm even shifts a little bit more to the east, New Orleans, not good. And more of Mississippi getting the storm surge as this thing makes landfall. That's why Mississippi's in the alert area as well for storm surge. So it all depends where this thing actually comes in. Right now, that's a 10 a.m. now. That's where the storm is. So it's still in the Gulf, but it's coming in. Should be this sometime this afternoon or evening when this makes landfall. So it may be raining here right now in the coastal areas. You still have a little time to go out there and prepare. See, I don't know where. Oh, yeah, I see Lafayette now. Well, I'm going to tell you. You can't be off guard here with Lafayette. You can't. It all depends where this storm comes in. It's hard to predict where the eye is going to come in. They're predicting it to be more to the east of Lafayette. But still, you have to keep an eye. Because the Euro, you're going to be on the rain side, predict on this forecast model. Right there. That's the rain side. The wind side is the right quadrant. The northeast quadrant, which is this side. This is the wind side. So, Lafayette isn't that far away. You must keep an eye on this. don't put your guard down. If you're near Lafayette, do not put your guard down because we have to see where this thing comes in. This is just a model. Yeah, the models are showing it going to the east of Lafayette, but look where it is right now. If this thing goes north-northeast, it takes it right into Lafayette. So you cannot put your guard down if you're in these areas. You just can't. So right now it's just raining. I don't know, I might refresh this one. I can't, there isn't many. You can see the rain. It's raining. But yeah, this is something that you all need to keep an eye on if you're in Louisiana. And then I know this is a little off topic right now and going a little off, but there's more storms that are developing in the Atlantic. Now, too far to, now look at this one. There's a couple. There's a system right there. This is Saturday, so this is only a few days away. It's coming in Monday. Now, this has to be watched. This is only a few days away, so this model is not off by much. There's another system heading toward the Carolinas. Now, is it going to be developing in time to become a hurricane? Well, I got to tell you, the one that affected this Cat 2 here, this was not predicted a week ago. This was not predicted. This storm was supposed to, on the old models, it was lurking here off of Texas. And it didn't show this development. The reason I'm bringing that up is because we don't know if this storm here, right there, is going to intensify more than what the model is showing or less than what the model is showing. But the Euro is showing another system heading right toward the Carolinas. And then there's another system here. Now let's see where they're predicting this one. Now that, I think it's going to go north. Yeah, it is. It's moving north. That's a good thing. It's moving out. So that's a good sign right there. Let's see what the American model is showing. The American model has it way out over here. Let me back up and see what the American is showing, if anything, off the Carolinas. It is. So the American and the Euro is showing something off the Carolinas right there. This has it a little bit more to the north. But look at this. Another one. So it looks like something may be developing. Maybe. We don't know. This is predicted for Monday. Something it looks like is going to develop off the Carolinas next week, early next week. So if you're living in the Carolinas, you need to watch your weather too. Now, again, is this going to be a tropical storm? Is it going to just be a low pressure? Is it going to be a hurricane? I don't know. We'll know more in a couple days. But the Euro, if this is rare, actually, for the Euro and the American to agree this early. See, now the Euro, which I trust more, by the way, has it more to the south, making landfall. Right there. It looks like Myrtle Beach. And this side would be the side of impact with the storm surge. So right now it's all about Louisiana. But look at this. Look at this. Look at that surge. If this model is to come to fruition and it comes true, which is still a few days out, we don't even know if this storm is going to be a strong or weak. We don't know if it's even going to be here. But like I said, both models are showing something. Both the American and Euro. Look at this. This has it stronger. Both models have something. Wow. Look at this. Look at that storm surge coming in. Anywhere in the Carolinas, you need to watch. I'm not saying this is imminent. It's going to happen, but both models are showing some kind of a system impacting the Carolinas early next week. So don't, like I said, pay attention to that too. I know the attention right now is focused on Louisiana, Mississippi, etc., but looking a little ahead, there's another system right here. I just want to see where this system is coming from. See, this is open water. There's a little wind shear coming in, dry air, which could, wow. So it's developing right offshore. It doesn't have time to really develop. That's why it may not become a hurricane. Who knows? It doesn't have the time. This is the low right here. Where is it now? It's not even on the map. That's why it may not have time to develop. It's not even there. It's expected to develop off of northern Florida coast out of nowhere here Friday. So as it's sitting over the ocean, and you can see it's being disturbed, there's a lot of shear going on. It doesn't have really time to develop, but this water is warm. So we have to watch this because this could intensify. But because of all this other stuff going on, it doesn't look like it's going to be organized. And that's why it may not have time. See it? This is dry air. This is wind shear. This is not a good flow for development. Right here. So that's going to diminish it from strengthening rapidly. But as that moves off and it moves more to the north, now it's trying to get its act together. But it doesn't have time to really develop into like a Cat 1, Cat 2, based right now on the models. And that's why the Carolinas might be very fortunate, because it doesn't have the time to develop. It's right offshore. But it looks like once it's offshore, it's going to rapidly intensify. Now, how much, look at this, how much it intensifies? That's the question. Because it's stalled. That's a bad sign. It's stalled. It's not moving. It's just sitting there. Then it's going to make its move. So that needs to be watched. How long is it going to sit here, stall, and have time to develop, and then make landfall? That's the question. Again, this water is extremely warm. That's why the one that's impacting Louisiana, this low started here. This low pressure started here. And all of a sudden, just from here to Cat 2. And it's moving. It's not like it's stalled. It's moving. But look how fast it developed from a low pressure into a Cat 2 predicted when it makes landfall. Thank gosh it didn't have time, like if it was here, to really develop and go up, because that would have been a major hurricane. It didn't have the time. So, fortunately, and that may be the same scenario going on here for the Carolinas. It doesn't have the time, but if it stalls over this warm water and has time to develop like this, I didn't think this was going to be a Cat 2. I thought it was going to be a Cat 1. Well, now they're predicting Cat 2. So that's not good. I just want to see something. What is this low? The American had it different. I'm just checking that low pressure out. It goes in. That's bizarre. It goes in and then it comes back out. See, that's the mess right here. That's bizarre the way they have it, the model showing it. That is really bizarre. It backs out. It goes in and then it backs out. That is really bizarre. See, look at that. Now that's the center. But it doesn't show it really organized because but then and it's moving fast on this one. So like I said, because the water is extremely warm, above normal, rapid intensification could happen with these storms. And you must pay attention to it. And that's definitely a concern. But right now, it's all about Louisiana. And the next update's out in about 50 minutes. Over here, let's see what time. This is the Euro. Okay, so it says probably 5 p.m. Sometime this evening is when this is predicted to make landfall. You know, Genghis, that's not a bad idea. Putting turbines, wind turbines in the Gulf for real. But I don't even know if they would withstand that kind of hurricane force winds. You know, you would have to build it up, but yeah, that's not good. That is just not good. So, and not to get off topic either, but there have been a lot of nasty storms in the Pacific, in Asia. They've been getting pummeled with typhoons, which are hurricanes. But since it's in the Pacific, it's typhoons. They've been getting hit a lot. Now this one, oh my gosh, this looks like it's going to the Japanese chain islands here. And then it looks like it might be heading toward China or, yep, that one's heading toward China. Yep. And there makes landfall there. So they've been getting these storms a lot. And there's another one developing. Now that one looks like it's going more. There's two of them. Which interacting with each other creates it where they're not going to really do. Wow, this one looks like it's going to Japan. Yep, that one's going toward Japan, and this one might be going toward China. Now, this is way out. It's a week from now, so hard to say if this is going to stick. But look at this. Japan might... Oh, there goes another Israeli alert. Rocket fire. Where's this one at? Northwest Israel. Another one. Same area. Northwest Israel, border with Lebanon. Wow. So Japan, based on this model, Japan might get hit with 2 hurricanes, which is insane to even think about. I want to see what the American... Okay, the American has this one going here. But again, this is a week out. This model will change. And now it's headed toward China again. But this is too far out to be reliable. But even in the Pacific, it's crazy. And again, this is Radar Omega. And there's 132 alerts. Probably a lot of it is flood warnings. Because the alerts are warnings. Yeah, see? Flash flood. It's probably all this whole area. Tropical. Look at this. 130. Storm surge warning. 20. Hurricane warning. 20. Look at this. That whole area highlighted is in hurricane warning. Excuse me. So, I mean, that's a big area. And even Lafayette is in that cone, Genghis, just so you know. Hi, Candace. Yeah, the weather people have a tendency to over-exaggerate too. You know, they get all excited when this stuff goes on, you know. So the storm surge, all this area. And you got to remember, like I said, you must be careful with the isolated tornadoes. Rainfall warning. Oh, that's way up in Canada. A rainfall warning. What the heck? Oh my gosh. That's a little... See, now look at all the areas of concern. Look at this. Look at this. The Atlantic is starting to ramp up. But a lot of these are going to head north and curve out. If I had to predict, I don't know yet. This has a high development chance, 30%, low. This one I think is going to curve. We got to watch. Again, you know, we have to just keep an eye on what the heck is going on here. But look where this storm started. Just look at this. It started right here in the peninsula, Mexico. It was a low, then it became a tropical storm. It was just lurking over here, and then it became a Cat 1 here. And it'll be a Cat 2 predicted later this afternoon. But that's not a lot of time for development. This thing, like I said earlier, was just hanging offshore. A low pressure, tropical depression, and then it just became a hurricane, and now predicted to be a Cat 2. So that's why you need to watch these areas, because anything can happen. You could predict, you can create forecast models, all that. Until the storm makes landfall, you really don't know. It's based on models, predictions. Until it's like, now this is hours away. So the models are probably accurate right now. This is hours away. This is the same day. When it's days away, the models will change. If it's a week away, I don't rely on the model. Because tomorrow, that may not even look like it does today. You don't trust the model 7, 10 days out. It's too far out. Because changes happen so fast. Even hourly. Like, even like this storm now. I mean, look at this. Tropical storm. It was just hanging offshore. It didn't really increase. Look, 52, 52. What was this one? 63. 63. But then when it became the Cat 1, it went to 92. And how long? From that period of 63 to that little distance, it gained almost 30 miles per hour. Why? Because that's extremely warm water. There's no wind shear. It had time to develop. Rapid intensification. Fortunately, you see where all those tropical storm icons are? Well, fortunately, this thing wasn't developing way down south and gaining strength as it came up into Louisiana. Otherwise, we'd be dealing with a much more serious hurricane here. It was just hanging there. That's fortunate. You could see it didn't develop. Even down here, what was it? 40. Let's go all the way up here. 58. It jumped 18 miles per hour in all that distance. So it didn't really develop in here. Look, even up here, 63. But then the next one, just look at that location. Just from here to here, 75, 92. Now it actually lost a little. Now you always look at the millibars. That's the pressure. See what it says, 976? The lower the millibars, the more intensification, the stronger the storm is. So if that number drops at 11 p.m., that means the storm is intensifying. If it goes up, that means the storm is weakening. That's what they go by, the millibars. So that's an interesting number to keep an eye on. And that was the latest update from NOAA. Now, I don't know if that's going to predict. See, it's not. It's not going to predict the millibars. It can't, because it's not an actual statistic. See, the millibars here was 977. 976, it didn't really intensify. It's pretty much the same. The next update at 11 a.m. Eastern is going to tell us if that storm is intensifying based on the millibars. If that millibars goes down maybe 5, that means the storm is intensifying, which I'm predicting it will, because they're predicting it's going to be a Cat 2. So I bet money that that millibar is going to go down, not just by 1 digit. It's probably going to go up by 5, at least. I'm predicting. Prediction, not saying it's going to happen. I'm predicting. My opinion. Something we have to keep an eye on in over half hour when the next NOAA update comes out. Exactly. Nature has a mind of its own. Now, the reason I was going to look here, because I want to see where they're predicting landfall. So let's just say anywhere between Morgan City and Franklin. That's the Euro. Do you notice how they're using the Euro model here? They're not using the American. That's the Euro track. The middle line, that's the Euro. They're not using the American. Let's go to let's go back to windy. And let's go back to our area. And let's go back to current time. Remember, between Franklin and Morgan City. Okay. Oh, the Euro jogged a little. The Euro jogged a little to the east. Slightly. Just a very slight thing. But see, that's what they're predicting between Franklin and Morgan City. That's the Euro. So you could see they're basing it on the Euro model, the middle line of the cone. The American has it more to the east. Man, that storm surge is going to be tough. If this is a Cat 2, I don't know. We're going to have to look at a map in a second. I'm going to go to Google Earth. That's actually the American model. The American model now shifted more to the west, agreeing with the Euro. That's actually the American model. Let me go to Euro. Oh, see? See how the American shifted more to agree with the Euro? That just happened over the last few minutes. It's agreeing now more with the Euro model. See how the Euro is more reliable? The American model is now trending toward agreeing with the Euro model. So that's why I always check the Euro. But look at the storm surge coming in here. Even east areas, not so much Mississippi, but even over here, it's not going to be as bad, but there's still storm surge coming in over here, but really it's in here. Now, I don't know. We're going to have to bring up a map. I'm going to go to Google Earth because I'm not familiar with the area. Genghis, I'm sure you are. A little bit at least. You're from Louisiana. I want to see what that terrain is made of along that area. Is it, no, there's no populated areas there? So we're going to check it out right now. There's Morgan City. So it doesn't look like it. Thank God. Concord. Oh my. That's definitely a strip of populated area. That water's gonna rush right in. All right, let's see where we are on the map. Marsh Island. That's a little bit more to the east though, but still, it's inland. But this is all like low-lying area. The water's just gonna rush in. There's actually some areas here of concern. Oh yeah, there is populated areas. Not that much, but there is definitely some areas here. And that water's just, I mean, oh my God. No. Okay, good. There's no populated areas there. Barrier Islands. Don't want to be on any of those. They don't look like they're populated. But see, the water's just going to rush into here. Marsh Island. All right, now let's go back. Here's Lafayette, Morgan City. Franklin should be up here somewhere. Where is Franklin? I see Morgan City. There's Franklin. Okay. So Morgan City. We were looking at points east. Oh yeah, there is definitely populated areas in here. Not much, but still, I wonder. It's not a lot, but there is. This is low lying. A lot of this is below sea level. Oh my God, this is definitely populated here. All right, we got to go back. I want to look at this map. Oh man, I went too much. Come on, come on. Okay, there's Morgan City. Yeah, I don't know how much. See, there goes that flow. Big Island. Wow. Look at that. That's not good. Then look at the onshore flow, storm surge. If this model is right, look at that storm surge. That water's coming right in. If the model is right. Now, again, both models are pretty much coming together to agree that somewhere near Morgan City and Franklin, in between that area, is where landfall is supposed to happen as Cat 2. So these low-lying areas, Coco, what is it? Pronounced Coco Dre? Coco Dre? This is Cajun French for alligator. There are a lot of fishing, hunting camps, retired folk out there. Oh my God, I hope they're looking out for those people. Because once a storm starts, they'll tell the people, the residents, we are not going out once the storm starts. You're on your own. We're not going to risk our people to come and rescue you. You had the chance to get out when you could. Of course, they're not going to go out when the storm is hitting. It's going to be after. So I pray that all these people are preparing, and especially these areas here where that storm surge, you saw it when I was moving the map around. But see, this is the area that I'm concerned about. You've done some work out there? This is the area I'm concerned about with the storm surge. You could see the onshore flow coming in. This is where I would be concerned, any of these residents that live in this area. Now remember, this is a Cat 2. It's still a hurricane. It's not considered a major hurricane. That's Cat 3 and higher, but still, it's going to be some serious storm surge here. Now, I don't know what the prediction is. Maybe 6 feet, 10 feet. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Beautiful area. They call it a sportsman's paradise. Now, I'm wondering if we look at the news, are any evacuations being done? Let's take a look. Evacuations, Louise. Did I spell that right? No. Louisiana hurricane. Let's just see if they're doing anything. Evacuations ordered. Okay. So they did. Hurricane Francis bears down in Louisiana. Evacuations ordered. Shutting down a quarter of oil and gas production in the Gulf. Well, get ready for gas. Get ready for gas and oil to go up. It was a Category 1. It's expected to strengthen to a Category 2. It doesn't, it's talking about evacuations, but I'm not seeing any mention of evacuations there. Lake, see, that's kind of misleading. Let's try this one. Here we go. Here are all the evacuation orders, curfews for Louisiana ahead of Hurricane Francine. Cameron Parish started at 6 a.m. locally. Iberia Parish. Jefferson Parish. Mandatory. Voluntary evacuation. Mandatory here at I can't say the word. Lafourche Parish. Mandatory. Mandatory's here. A lot of this has a curfew and an evacuation order in this one. So there you go. So there have been evacuation orders issued for these areas, and curfew, and voluntary, mandatory. It's evening west of Morgan City. Yes, it looks like it's not going to be a Cat 1. It's going to be a Cat 2. So this is kind of old news. Yeah. We're going to have to keep an eye. That's not great. Entergy's out of power. Let's look at the map. Power outages. Okay, so that's what? 1 to 50 customers. This one has a big outage. 51 to 250. So there's already sporadic power outages ahead of the storm. This one has a lot already. Right in that area we were just looking at. 410 people already out as of 8:10 a.m. So, like I said, that's the area that I'm concerned about. The same one that I was just showing. To the south and east of Morgan City, where that storm surge is really going to come in. And that's the wind side. That's the wind side of the storm. That's not good. Already. Let me go back to this. Where's Windy? That's live. Where's Windy? See, where's Morgan City now? Let me zoom out a little bit. Morgan City, right here. See, the east side, this is the strong wind side. The northeast quadrant. This is where you're going to get a lot of, look at this. Look at the winds predicted. The storm surge here. Right in there. Going inland to these areas. I'm telling you, I hope people definitely are paying attention to this, that live in these areas. I don't know how fast. Now this is ahead. This is projected in the future. This is not now. This is now. So you still have time, but the conditions are definitely going down now. The storm is coming. I mean, I don't even know if there's time now. So this is not good. They've opened shelters around town for anyone that needs it. Thank gosh for that. So, like I said, thoughts and prayers for the people here. And NOAA even has it predicted as a Cat 2 now, which is, I think, 100 to 120 miles per hour, which we need to go to. Let's get ready for NOAA, because the next update's coming out soon. So see, this was, not that, this is hours ago. The next one is coming up. Look at that area of storm surge warning. We were just talking about it. That area. Look at that. Look at all the storm surge areas to be concerned about right now. That's a wide area. And this is an older. This was 7 a.m. local time this morning. We have to see what the next update is in a few minutes, in about 22 minutes. So what was the millibars on this? Maximum sustained win. I think it was 700 and I forgot what the millibar was. 776 or 775? The millibars? To see that wind field, that storm surge. Again, look how old this is. 1 a.m. locally. This is going to be updated, or should be updated. That's in Spanish. Ha! I didn't even expect that. Flash flooding. Arrival of windstorm surge inundation. Continue. Wow. There you go. The map is not working too great. It's glitching. Look at that. There's Morgan City. Look at the flood. Look at the storm surge potential. Look at that. This whole area. What's the time on this? This was at 4 a.m. local. This is going to get updated too. And that's why I was focusing on that area, because it doesn't look good for these areas here. So again, we're just going to have to wait for the next update, which should happen in 20 minutes. Not good. And there's already power outages occurring. There might be a storm chaser out there. Now, I pay for this. I can get access to this because I pay for it. This isn't something I pay for. So he's just sitting at a gas station right now. He's waiting. It's a storm chaser. So this is live. He's sitting in his vehicle. Now, my plans today, I have a meeting in an hour. I'm going bike riding afterwards. When I get home, I will definitely be checking this out. And that's when the storm is going to make its closer approach to making landfall. So, let me see. If I leave at 12:30, 1, 2, 3, maybe by 4:30, depends how much bike riding I do, I'm going to go live again. Genghis, that's funny. Yeah. And the thing is, the poor people that live here, and I don't mean like literally poor people, I mean in generally speaking, the folks that have to deal with this in the Gulf states and coastal areas, Florida, both sides, Atlantic Gulf, Georgia, Carolinas, these poor people have to be in risk of these storms. And thank gosh, this season wasn't as active as it could have been, as was predicted. The problem is when these storms do happen, and it causes significant damage, it affects everyone throughout the state, whatever state it affects. Insurance rates go up, coverage is diminished. It's horrible. It's the less frequency, the better. But when they do, I mean, you could have damage in coastal Louisiana, but the impact is statewide to everyone to cover the cost of what happened there. That's how the insurance companies do their rates. It comes out of everyone's pocket. You just can't depend on the people that were affected. Their rates only to go up. That's like here. If something happens here, because we have isolated tornadoes up here in the Hudson Valley, but it's nothing like the tornadoes. They're EF zeros. They're the lowest. But our insurance is affected regardless if it happened 10 miles away. It affects everybody's insurances to go up to cover the damage cost. So you don't want to see anything happen like this. I've had my cousin on a call. She's paying in Florida, in Central Florida, in Orlando. Well, it's actually northern Orlando, Winter Park. She's paying $4,000 a year in Central Florida for homeowners insurance. In Central Florida. She doesn't live on the coastal areas of the Gulf or the Atlantic, but her premiums have gone insane because everybody gets affected. And, that's why these storms affect everyone throughout the state. For real, look at the way that truck just pulled in. But can you blame people for preparing? Now, if that was me, I have generators. You would see me with containers of gas to fill up. Maybe he's going to do it. Maybe he's got a generator. I don't know. Oh, he did it. Look, he's doing it. The other guy's doing it too. Check it out. I just mentioned that. Heck yes. Fill up your gas. Because the gas stations are going to lose power. He may be using that for his vehicle. That's what I would be doing. I have gas in the garage right now. Definitely. Smart. Now, please, God, people, don't put your generators on indoors or even in your garage. Have it outdoors where that CO2 emissions are going outside and that invisible killer coming into your home. Please don't put a generator in your home or in a garage, because that seeps into the house. If you have a door that goes into the house from the garage, like me, I don't have that. I wouldn't put my generator in my garage anyway. But I have an outlet that I put myself and was inspected by the town because they put a new electrical panel when they did the solar on my house. Everything was inspected. And my thing passed that I installed. I put a box that I could plug my generator outside the house on the side of the garage, and the generator sits out there, and then I have a makeshift open-ended covering so the rain doesn't hit the generator, but it can breathe, and I have it outside my house. That's the right way to go. Or maybe you have a Genovac, or whatever they're called, that turns on. It's connected already to the house. You don't have to go through what I go through, having to start a generator, pull it out of the garage, and connect it to the house. So please do not put a generator, gas-powered generator, inside your house. Please. It's so dangerous. It's an invisible killer. Period. End of story. So, just to add that sidebar, it's so important for the power loss. But that's funny that he brought out the gas containers, because that's exactly what I would have been doing. If I knew a storm was coming, I'm going to get gas, because there's no guarantee these stations are going to have power. Now, they may have backup generators, but even if they do, these isolated stations that may have power, how fast do you think that gas supply is going to last? How long do you think it's going to be before they get gas to these stations? You don't take those chances. You want to be prepared. So that gentleman that drove up and started filling, good idea. That means he's either preparing for a generator or he's preparing it for another vehicle or his own vehicle. Who knows? But smart. In a situation like this, you have to be prepared that you're going to have power for, you're going to be out of power for days. You got to make sure people have their medications. Uh-oh. Oh. Now, I'm allowed to stream this because I pay for this. It's paid. I have the paid gold package for Radar Omega. So I can stream this. I pay for this service. It's a premium. So this gentleman is on his way. Now, later on today, you'll probably see a lot more storm chasers popping up on the screen here. Like, he's here. That's him. You might see a few others pop up. I don't know if that's a storm chaser. That's a camera. Yeah, that's a camera. So there's one storm chaser. Do not be surprised if you see others. You know that. Later on, you'll see the others coming on too. But right now, he's the only one on the map. This gentleman. Aaron Jajak is his name. And he's getting ready. He's got his water. I'm sure he has other supplies too. I know I would, because I'm a prepared person, to say the least. I like to be prepared. So he's going to be there during this storm. One of probably a few. So we'll see later on when I get back from my bike ride. We'll see. We'll be streaming again to check all this stuff out. But I'm sure there'll be other storm chasers out there. This is what they do. It's not just. I mean, is he going to go along the shoreline to see about the storm surge? He's got to find a sheltered area, a protective area, which the side of a building or in a garage is probably the best. Elevated. An elevated garage. A lot of them do it from those type of facilities. If you've seen them in the past, they'll park in a car garage, second level, so they can get a view. They're protected. They're covered. That's what a lot of them do. So let's see what he's talking about.
It may be battling some shear as it comes ashore. Maybe even some dry air. It's kind of still been struggling to form that eye, but it's finally kind of forming a fully concentric eye.
Oh, I'm getting an echo, so that means my audio is bleeding somewhere. Let me check. It's probably YouTube, if I had to guess. It is. It's YouTube.
Well, we are in a rental pickup truck here in a Chevy Silverado. So if we need to drive over any trees or whatever we need to do.
I'm still hearing an echo, which shouldn't be happening. Let me check all my streaming platforms. It might be TikTok. Okay, this one is muted. Let's check TikTok. It's not TikTok. We already did YouTube. Twitch is muted. So is that one. Ah, I found the culprit. Now let's try.
Might not even need to drop all the way down to Homo, but that's funny. As I shot some video in Morgan City, I know the area. I know all this area very well. I scouted it out extensively for Hurricane Ida. They've got this big, huge seawall there. So we're probably going to be in the truck here driving around
Two
until
platforms have the audio on.
landfall. Well, I don't know. We'll be driving around the whole time. We might stop for say conserve gas and stuff, unless I can find a gas station in Morgan City and top off before power goes out around here. But you know, even though it's only a category 1, maybe likely category 2 of landfall, you know, it'll still have significant impacts to this area. It's just not gonna destroy the area like a category 4 would, but with roofs flying and Hurricane Ida was wild. I was in Homa. You guys can watch the video. I made a whole video about it, a whole webisode, long form edit. But I was in Homa for I was in Homa for the majority of the hurricane, pre-landfall, the beginning of landfall, and stuck around in Homa for quite a while until I noticed that the storm was going to pivot and wobble.
Okay, I'm gonna mute him for a minute. Oh, I better unmute him.
Noticed that the storm was going to pivot and wobble, turn to the east, and I was going to miss the eye of Ida if I didn't move out of Homa. And Homa ended roofs flying and sheet.
Okay, my meeting was canceled for 12. So what I'm going to do right now, yeah, he's having issues on his side. You're going to always see that. You're going to have them lose connectivity, especially during a storm. That's why a lot of webcams drop. When you see them like on a beach, their signals drop or they lose power. I can't share. I cannot. I'm on TikTok. I'm on other platforms. I cannot share other people's streams. This one I pay for, so I can share that without getting in trouble. This is a paid premium thing that I do, so I don't want to share other people's streams because I don't have permission to do that. So we're gonna focus in on what these folks are doing using Radar Omega. But I'm sure Reed and like you're mentioning and other people are going to go live to cover this. But on this map, it will have the storm chasers on it as they appear. Remember, this I pay for this. So, you know, I have to do what I have to do. I can't share other people's streams, you know. Just not, you're not supposed to do that. But on this one, I can. So that's why we're going to stick with this. Now, my meeting was canceled. So that means I can go now, get my bike ride out of the way, do it now, the earlier the better, and then come back and do another stream to cover this storm. But I'm not leaving yet because any minute the new update is going to come out. After that update comes out and we see the latest details of the hurricane, I will end the stream and I'll be back in a few hours, probably more like 3 hours from now, because it takes time to go on my bike ride, which I'm looking forward to doing today. You want to hear a crazy story while we're waiting? So yesterday, and I've had Verizon for 16 years. This is a totally different story. My TV stopped working. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I spoke to someone and they convinced me, based on what they said, if I went from 1 gigabyte to 2 download speed on the internet, because I have 1 gig up and down, they could send a technician to check out what's going on with my TV, the system here, and I would be charged an extra $17 per month. And I'm like, wait a minute. He says he couldn't get a connection to my system in the house. I went to the garage and checked the panel. I unplugged the box, restarted it, all that. So I said, okay. So there was a work order in for October 8th for them to come out. After I ended the call, 15 minutes later, the top box started to work again. I went to Verizon yesterday, and it's still in the box. It's still in the box. I'm going to go to full screen now. This is a true story, obviously. Let me go over here and widen my camera out. So I went to Verizon, as I was instructed to do, and I picked up, it's brand new, a new main set top box. This controls the 4 TVs in this house as well as the one right here. But that one started working. Now, I've had problems with that one. It's been acting weird the last few weeks. So I know it's going. It's old. So I'm going to put this one in. I don't get charged for this. I've been a customer with them for 16 years. So I called this morning. I canceled that work order. And I canceled $17 increase for something that's working again after the fact. And they gave me another deduction off my bill. Because I said, I hope this is recording. Because you ever hear that message? This call may be monitored or recorded for training purposes. I said right off the get-go. Her name was Cindy. She was awesome. I said, Cindy, I'm not saying, you have nothing to do with this. And then I told her the story. I said, I hope this is getting recorded because I want this to be known. And I said the whole story. So the bad thing is the DVR system, whatever's recorded on that box, needs to be watched. Because once I put this one in, all that gets wiped out. This starts from fresh. So mom better go watch her 90 Day Fiancé and all that other stuff. It's mostly her stuff. Then it's going to go all bye-bye. But that's what happened yesterday. It was bizarre. Because it started to work. After the phone call, 15 minutes later, boop, it comes back on. I'm like, so it wasn't me. It was your end. And then you tried to convince me to pay for, not good. Not good at all. Not a good thing. I felt like I was being manipulated to be coerced to pay for internet. And here was the catch. They wanted to charge me $99 to have a technician come out. $99. If I didn't upgrade from 1 gig to 2, then they would come out for free. If I pay $17 a month extra from 1 gig to 2, I don't need 2 gig. 1 gig up and down is more than enough speed. I never have problems. 0. Why do I need 2? I got 1 gig up and down. Some people have 20 megabytes or megabits per second, not megabytes. It's bits. I have 1 gig. So I was not a happy camper this morning, and I got right on the phone. And I made it clear. And it worked out. All right, let's go check out the latest NOAA. Should be updated. Let's refresh. It's still saying 7 a.m. Let's do warnings. NOAA, why aren't you working? Okay, what's the time? Let's go back to warnings. There it is, the latest one. Okay, the latest one is out. Okay, let's go back up. Message center. Where's the message center? Okay, it's still at 90. That means it hasn't gained strength. It's moving fast at 13 miles per hour. All right, let's go to NOAA, period. Where is... I don't want the warning cone. Key messages. There we go. This is the latest update. It's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. So this was a few minutes ago. It doesn't show me the millibars. I'm going to go back to radar omega. Let's see if they updated it here. Yep, last update, 11 a.m. Eastern. So it's the same millibar pressure. It did not drop. I was wrong. It's still steady. The next update's at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central. So the storm is still at 90. It hasn't increased. That's good. But it's still way out there. That's a good thing. We have to check as it gets closer if it increases. But notice what just happened. Look. It's not showing a 2 anymore. It's showing a 1. It may not be a Cat 2 now. They upgraded this. It's not showing 2. That's a good thing. There it is. It looks like the forecast models have changed. The Cat 2 that they were predicting, now it's down to Cat 1 when it makes landfall. It's updating. I mean, it's still a Cat 1. You're still going to have issues, but it's not a Cat 2. We're going to have to keep an eye on this because it changes. You could see, we were talking about this earlier, how when the updates come out, things change. So, just now, from the latest update, it's been downgraded prediction from a Cat 2 landfall to a Cat 1. Just from the last update to now, in 3 hours, look how the forecast changed. For the better. For the better. It's now showing Cat 1. 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern, so 7 local time is when they're expecting landfall. Local time, 7. But you see how the models and the forecast changed? And I'm sure, I don't know if they're telling people, like on the local news, that it's now been forecasted to be a Cat 1. They might still be saying it might be a Cat 2. Well, the latest forecast models do not have that. It has it as a Cat 1. So that's the latest information. Not exaggerated. This is based on the NOAA model. NOAA. Because that's how the update came in. If you click on it, it says it updated 11 a.m. Eastern. It did not intensify. You know what we need to check before I go? I'm going to close this out. we're going to check the radar. Okay, let me close out some of these windows. I have a ton open. What do you mean live do community guidelines on TikTok? What the hell just happened? All right, TikTok might be a problem. What the hell happened? TikTok issue. It says I violated community guidelines. What did I do? That shit don't make no sense. Retarded. Anyway. What did I do that violated the community guidelines? So bizarre. See? It doesn't. Look how it's really not developing. You could see it. There's the inflow. Even the land interaction with it. See, the wraparound is not happening. See, it's not allowing the eye to develop. That's very disorganized. Now, time will tell, but look at all this rain coming in already. But that is not an organized eye wall. It doesn't look like, right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be as bad as predicted. I don't blame you. Use that power while you can, Genghis. But there's a lot of rainfall coming in. And you got to watch the bands. You got to watch them for any development of isolated tornadoes. But I'm not too impressed right now with this eye wall. It's very unorganized. And it's big, too. It's not tightening, which shows strengthening. It's not looking good as an eye wall is concerned. It's not looking good at all, which is a good thing. We'll have to see what this looks like in a couple of hours. I honestly think it's not going to be so bad based on just looking at this radar. But we got to see. We got to wait and see. All right. I'll be back. Let me just see if this guy is still... I killed Radar Omega. Let's bring it back up. I'm going bike riding now. Let me just bring it up one more time. Oh, there's another one. Another chaser's out there. Brad Arnold. Target, Morgan City. So there's Brad Arnold. He's out there. So let me go get my bike ride done. I got to get my bike ride done. It's a beautiful day here, by the way. Alexa, what's the temperature right now? 65?
It's 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
68. I was close. It's 68 degrees. It's beautiful out. Sunny. This is a great time. No wind to go bike riding. But we'll come back later this afternoon and we will continue the coverage here. So for anybody who's watching on any of the platforms, be well, be blessed, be safe. And I'll be back in a few hours. By then, we'll know a lot more. And we'll keep an eye on this storm. And like I said, thoughts and prayers to the people that live in this area. So till then, peace out. It's time for me to go on my